What's going on, everybody? Hey, you're tuned into the Average Discussion Show here. I'm Chris. Glad to have you guys back. Hey, so if you've followed the show in the past, which most likely, probably most of you haven't, based off the statistics I got from the platform that it was on, I used to do this thing where I would kind of look up news articles that I found kind of comical and hilarious. And so that's what I'm going to get back into here. I did make you guys a promise that I'm going to stay away from politics and the cultural issues going on in the world right now, and at least I'm going to do my best to, right? So that does hold true. So if you think this is going to be a video or an episode of just going over the same shit that's on your TV all the damn time anyways, it's not. With one caveat to that, the first story I do have to talk about, I guess loosely is related to politics, but I don't think the entirety of it is, and I think you'll understand when I get to it. But hey, in a nutshell, here's what's going down. Okay, so obviously I get on the news platforms, the major ones, obviously, you know, and I'm looking through them, and obviously everything's the same shit it has been for the last, oh god, it feels like a year, but it's only been like a month or two, right? So it's very hard to find articles that are either inspirational or, in my mind, funny, you know. So we'll just get right into it right here. So the first one I came across, all right, this is one that's loosely related to politics a little bit, okay? First one I came across is South Carolina mom stunned by Biden's inauguration escaped Kanan. I don't really know how to say it. I mean, I have a gist of what the group is, but I don't really know anything about it. But anyways, it says that because she was inspired by his inauguration, that she felt the need to get away from this. And that, in a nutshell, you know, she'd gotten into the rabbit hole, and she thought, you know, that the world was going to end because Joe Biden was potentially going to become president and all these things, right? So from what I do know about this group, they're one of those. They're one of those groups that tries the same tactics as normal media anyways, it just bombards you with biased journalism or biased information that fits their agenda, whatever that might be, and they declare it as fact. Now, I'm not saying that they've never put anything out there that isn't fact. All I'm saying is that's from what I understand, and please feel free to correct me, that's kind of the basis behind this little group that's not a group that is a group or whatever, right? But the whole time I'm thinking about this, right, and then they're showing you pictures in the article, and they're walking down a beach, and she's got like these fake leather pants on with some Uggs or some shit, and she's walking with her husband, and all I could take from it was that shit got real and Karen couldn't deal. Shit really popped off that she thought she was all for, and then when it really got serious, she got out of the kitchen because she couldn't take the heat, which I can respect, right? But that's the only thing I'm really getting from this article. And obviously there's an agenda for posting that article. I mean, I think in 2021 we figured out that they don't just post shit because they feel inspired, right? They post shit because it's whatever agenda-based stuff. So I just thought I'd share that with you guys if you haven't looked at that one. It's pretty funny to me because, you know, I think there's a lot of people out there like that get behind something thinking they know what it really is, and then when shit pops off, shit gets real, all of a sudden they're not a revolutionary anymore. I find that to be pretty hilarious myself. So like I said, it's clearly difficult to find things that aren't politically driven, that aren't the same, COVID-19 or whatever, right? And I don't really want to talk about any of that crap. I don't want to talk about it anymore. But so clearly there's nothing new to talk about because on the 1st of February, CNN posted an article that said that prehistoric teeth hint at Stone Age sex with Neanderthals. Didn't we already fucking know that? Like, I'm confused. Wasn't that the point of like genetic studies? We already knew this stuff, right? Like, we already knew because of the fact that modern humans have Neanderthal DNA that, hey, they did the deed, right? Like, I'm confused. I was confused why this was news, right? So I read through the article and I'm looking through it, and supposedly they found some teeth in a cave. I can't remember exactly where, but they found some teeth in a cave that were from two separate species that indicate that they were together or whatever. However the hell they figured this out, right? But in my mind, all I can think about is like, listen, I was taught about, maturation, right? I was taught how a baby is made. And after I learned how a baby was made, I didn't need to see a video of my parents doing it in order to verify that that's how the fuck I got here. So why this is news, I have no idea. But apparently it's news, it's hot, and we should know about it. Well, I wouldn't even say it's hot because I had to search for it, but it's in there. You can see it. So if Ford did not let me down enough by deciding to convert the Mustang to a 4-door crossover SUV looking electric car, which I'm not upset about the electric part, just for the record. I'm just upset at the fact that it looks like a fucking crossover SUV, right? So if they didn't disappoint me enough on that, apparently Ford is getting into the business of making respirator masks that are supposed to be clear nonetheless and N95 equivalent, right? It's supposed to be just as good as an N95 mask. So clearly, I mean, I guess this shit ain't going nowhere if businesses like that are getting into the ball game, which, I mean, I feel like you could probably get the same general gist if you walk through any store. I mean, there's fucking masks for sale everywhere. Everybody's got a mom and pop shop making them now. Every little small town stay-at-home mom has got some gig where she's making some masks or whatever. And you know what? Hey, I'm not hating on people for making money. All I'm saying is that clearly this shit ain't going nowhere. So we might as well just get used to the fact that we're going to be wearing masks everywhere, because once the businesses start getting into it, it ain't going nowhere. At least not for a while. I won't say never, but at least not for a while. Apparently California might recall a governor for the second time in 2 decades, I think is what it said. Apparently they don't like this guy. I don't really know the ins and outs of what he's doing, but apparently they're not too happy with him. Maybe it's because of the number of cases. They don't think that he did enough, or that he kept the economy too low or too closed for too long. I'm not really sure, but here's what I do know. My job right now is an employment recruiter, right? So I reach out to people who have applied on things like Indeed and stuff like that, and I ask them if they want a job with the company that I work for. And we live in Utah, by the way, and I have seen an influx in individuals applying for our company who have recently moved here from California. So I don't know statistics. I haven't actually looked it up, but I think it's a fair assessment that there's probably a large majority of middle-class jobs, especially blue-collar middle-class jobs, that have probably taken a significant hit, and people are migrating. I mean, we're a migratory species in nature, right? So they're following the jobs. And Utah's had a job boom before the pandemic, and in my opinion, I would say we're still in the middle of one. It's probably a little rougher now, but I think there's still good job opportunity in Utah, at least in the Salt Lake area. I can't speak for obviously other parts, but I would say in the industrial part, especially the blue collar workforce, I think that we're still there. So I mean, I guess they don't like the dude, which, I mean, goodness gracious. First of all, I couldn't imagine what it'd be like to be a governor in California anyways, with all those extreme radical people. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the entire state of California is like that, okay? All I'm saying is that there's no secret that they hold a higher number of people who are really into their views. We'll just put it that way. Really into their views. And the word compromise is one that they have, if they could, they would find a way to eradicate it out of the dictionary, right? So I just can't imagine what you can do to even get elected in a position like that in that state, let alone get recalled from it. So I thought that was pretty interesting myself. Apparently we're suffering from methed out bees. Yeah, apparently bees are not getting, what was the title? Hold on, it says, bees not getting enough sleep thanks to some common pesticides. So basically these things are running around high as shit and they're not sleeping. I didn't get to read into it enough to see if they're not doing their job, because I imagine if they're anything like humans who are all strung out, they're probably pretty active, right? So maybe there's a good side to it. Maybe they're pollinating twice as much because they're high as shit. I don't really know. But apparently that's a problem. They're not getting enough sleep. And I'm super glad, I'm super glad that we are concerned about the sleep quality of bees over the sleep quality of American workers who are constantly taken advantage of by their companies. So that's fucking fantastic. I'm so glad I live in this world sometimes. So Robinhood was in the news again. Yeah, that little investment app. I didn't read into the whole spiel about it, but I did see that basically because of what they're calling market manipulation, a bunch of hedge fund individuals lost a significant amount of money, and then Robinhood app kind of overstepped their boundaries from what a lot of people are saying, and basically put a stop to it because the rich people were starting to lose money in the game that they play. Now listen, I'm not a stock expert, I'm not an investment expert. There's probably a very good logical reason why things like that are not good. But with that being said, as far as sympathy is concerned, I don't really fucking have it, right? But apparently they're back in the news again because it must have been super good for them because they earned enough money to get themselves a Super Bowl ad slot, and they're going to have an ad during the Super Bowl. So I'm super excited for that. Only thing that I hope is that it's not like an apology type message, right? Like, I hope they don't have a commercial talking about like, oh, we owe so much more to the people, we need to be more responsible. Fuck that. Keep doing what you're doing. We're rocking with you. And I'm going to end this video on probably the most interesting topic that I came across. And that is that in March 1st, 2020, a teenage boy in Great Britain was struck by a car. And he has been in a coma ever since. Now, he didn't miss the entire pandemic, but it was just starting to really pop off, and in the area that he was at, nothing had really come of it, so nothing had really shut down. Now the reason this is interesting to me, could you imagine fucking waking up right now? Holy shit, man. Holy shit. I can't even imagine the types of things that kid's mind is going through right now. Because so much has changed in America, so I imagine it's probably pretty similar to the UK. Obviously, there's probably going to be some differences, right? Like, I don't know the specifics of exactly what they've done to try to combat it, okay? All I'm going to say is that it's got to be somewhat comparable, right? Could you fucking imagine that? I mean, just imagine you went to sleep knowing that I mean, that's like the Walking Dead scenario, you know, where the dude gets shot, he wakes up and everybody's a fucking zombie. It's almost to that point, you know what I mean? I can't even imagine the thing that this kid's brain is going through, and I bet you it's hard as shit for him to know if he's still in the same world that he fell asleep in. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know that I could wake up from that and be like, oh yeah, this is the same reality. Yeah. No, fuck no. I'd be all kinds of confused, man. Discombobulated and all kinds of shit. So, anyway, that's the headlines that I got for you today. It's not super in-depth because, you know, I'll be honest with you, most of it's about, well, fucking racist shit, political bullshit, and COVID-19. And I'm pretty sure everybody else is tired of that just as much as I am. So, I don't really want to broadcast that here. If you have any suggestions or any topics, things that you'd like me to kind of look into and go over, give my little 2 bits of sense on, please feel free to leave a comment or email me at averagediscussion@gmail.com. I would say hit the Facebook page up, but I'm really trying to stay off there a lot. Feel free to, though. I will try to check it a little bit more. As always, I hope everybody's doing well. Hope you guys are good. Hope you're enjoying your lives to the best of your abilities, and we'll talk to you next time.